This is the moment a concrete god begins to bleed. When you cage the fury, it finds the most brutal way out. The enemy doesn't need to get in. It turns your very foundation into a weapon. The great rampart is slowly disintegrating. And this is the signature it leaves on the earth, a reminder of the power we just witnessed.
Mankind once pierced the hearts of mountains, creating arteries of steel and concrete.
Inside them, a world of order and artificial light, a testament to the subjugation of darkness. Every cubic meter of this concrete is an oath of permanence. An artificial nervous system sustaining life for this stone leviathan.
Every sound, imprisoned and amplified, a premonition of what is to come.
And here is the second giant, the concrete leviathan, the one who restrains the river's rage. It doesn't just fight enemies from the outside. It constantly battles the immense power it holds captive.
A wall designed to withstand earthquakes, to survive for millennia.
The heart of the giant, where the water's power is transformed into energy for civilization.
But even the mightiest god has a tiny weakness, waiting to be exploited. The final giant does not reach for the sky. It hides in the heart of the earth, the subterranean citadel, humanity's last fortress, designed to survive the apocalypse. An isolated world, where time seems to stand still.
The brain of the fortress, protected by hundreds of meters of rock and concrete.
The ultimate shield, built to defy the most powerful weapons. They are the fortresses of civilization, indestructible, eternal.
In open space, energy is released and tamed by distance. But when you imprison it, you don't negate it. You give it a purpose, a direction. Every wall is no longer a shield. It becomes a mirror, reflecting the fury. When two waves of destruction meet, they don't cancel. They resonate, creating a force many times greater. This is the mathematics of disaster. Pressure increases exponentially, without limit. The air itself becomes a weapon, superheated to a plasma state. The shockwave has now become an energy piston, ready to launch anything in its path.
The monster is now ready, and 3 great iron cages await it.
Scenario 1. The mounted tunnel. Target: the exact center. The confrontation begins.
The explosion is no longer spherical. It is forced to obey the laws of its cage.
This is no longer a wave. This is a wall of energy, traveling at the speed of sound.
Order is broken. Artificial light is extinguished by a more primal one. The nervous system of the stone monster is paralyzed.
Every object in the tunnel now becomes a projectile, accelerated to horrific speeds. The tunnel's shape, designed for stability, now becomes a weapon against itself.
The skin of the giant begins to fracture.
And then the outside world is about to witness what was imprisoned.
The gun barrel effect. The entire energy of the explosion, released in a single moment.
The mountain god has been wounded.
The victor of round 1, the Caged Fury.
But the war is not over. The second giant is waiting.
This time, the explosion doesn't attack from the outside. It attacks the heart of the Leviathan.
The initial shock is not aimed at the concrete. It is aimed at the internal organs of steel.
These vibrations, while not enough to shatter, create thousands of microfractures. And now, another enemy joins the fight. One the dam has restrained for a century.
The first drop. The messenger of destruction.
The power of water is not in its impact, but in its infinite persistence.
Every water molecule is a tiny wedge, together creating an unstoppable force. This is not an immediate, overwhelming assault. This is a poison, slowly spreading through the giant's veins.
The dam begins to weep, tears under 1,000 tons of pressure. The first wound has been opened.
And now, the flood cannot be stopped.
The dam's true enemy was not the explosion. It was the very power it had imprisoned so long.
The great rampart is slowly disintegrating.
The final groan of a dying giant.
The finishing blow.
Leviathan has fallen, and its tears will reshape the land.
Round 2, a victory for the alliance of energy and nature. Only the final fortress remains, the one who hides in the earth. This time, the attack is not direct. It is indirect, and perhaps more sophisticated.
The energy does not vanish. It is converted.
This time, the explosion doesn't try to break the door. It turns the very earth into a giant speaker, broadcasting its impact.
The granite shield is about to face an invisible hurricane.
The first sign. A warning from deep within the earth.
The fortress's nervous system begins to feel the chaos.
The hurricane has arrived.
Light and darkness fight for control.
Even the most solid shell begins to crumble.
The laws of gravity are challenged by a stronger force.
But the walls do not break. The shell is intact.
But the brain is dead. Round 3 ends in a silent victory. An impregnable fortress, disabled without a single scratch.
3 marvels, 3 scenarios, a single truth. Nothing is invulnerable.
Point is also the way to control it. From chaos, we find order.
By taming the primal fire, we build the future.
Beauty, born from controlled destruction.
We use the power of the stars to reach for them.
Every launch is a perfectly conducted symphony of destruction.
The gods of concrete and steel still stand, guarding our civilization.
And every day, we build them stronger, smarter.
But as a challenge to chaos.
We have learned to master the explosions of our own making.
But the universe has its own tests. A threat on a planetary scale. And sometimes to fight a destructive force. You must use another destructive force.
An act of salvation.
But every action has a reaction.
A force powerful enough to save a planet.
Is it powerful enough to change it forever?
That question is for another time.
The confrontation between creation and destruction never ends.